This summer, I had the wonderful opportunity to work as an intern at Maritz Motivation Solutions. I could spend the first few minutes vaguely explaining what I've done over the course of the summer, but I've already done so. Here's a clip from our final intern presentations that we gave to the rest of the company.
Hi, my name is Ann Lucky. I will be a senior at Truman State University in the fall. And yes, for the last time, I am Mary Lucky's daughter. This summer, I had the pleasure of working as John Collier's intern in brand communications. One thing I really liked about my job is that I had the opportunity to be a part of several different projects throughout the company. For example, I was able to collaborate with corporate as we designed the new MMS website. I wrote the internal marketing plans for this website along with the relaunching of the Point onto Office 365. I was able to help Gabby design creative intern with the holiday card, and I was able to update content within Channel Next and sales incentives. I also was able to be a part of some really engaging and exciting projects outside of my position as well. Through my participation in the Employee Engagement Committee, I was able to plan Kids Day, I was able to help with Christmas in July, but I think my most favorite project outside of my position was helping to develop the motivational physical therapy app with several other interns as you heard. I think my favorite aspect about my position was that I had the capability to be very versatile in the way that I carried out my job. My manager, John, gave me the flexibility to be very creative in the way that I handled my work, and I think that that allowed me to do my best. For example, I like to think that I'm fairly good at communicating. It's my major, so I hope that I'm getting better. And I really try to utilize this during my time at Maritz. A lot of times when I was working on a project, it was very evident that that is where my abilities ended, and I needed to seek help outside of my own abilities. So I went to the creative team and would seek their input on an idea, or have them help design an asset, and I really utilized my communication when I did that, I believe. Another time that I really utilized that is eventually I would love to work for Maritz, and I think it's important that I get as knowledgeable with this company as possible. So I schedule meetings with people from corporate, travel, and within MMS in order to have a more full understanding of what we do here and the different types of positions we have. So if eventually I would come back, I would know where I fit. So I think I can say on behalf of the interns here at Maritz that we are coming out of this internship with great experiences that I don't believe we could have found elsewhere, and a huge network of support. And so on behalf of the intern class of 2016, I'd like to thank you all so much for welcoming us so warmly this summer, for mentoring us, and for coming today. And most importantly, we would love to thank Rachel so much for all of her help this summer. We could not have done it without you.
Now that you have a basic understanding of the tasks I worked on, I'd like to start at the beginning, when I got the job. As you may have noticed, I mentioned in the video that I am Mary Lucky's daughter. In fact, my mom works here too. She is how I found out about the intern program here. She told me about it a few years ago, and mentioned it would be a great opportunity if I decided to apply in college. She told me that applications were due in October of this past year, so I promptly applied online. Soon after, I received a call from Rachel Boyer of HR wanting to have a phone interview with me. Weeks after, I received a call from John Valier, manager of internal brand communications. He said that we would probably be a great fit and continue to have an interview. I soon received a call with an internship offer and was told I'd begin the 23rd of May. After several days of onboarding, both with HR and my manager, it was time to begin working. At this point, it probably makes sense to show you what a typical day in the office is like for me. First, I'll give you a little tour of the office. This is the outside of Maritz. We have several companies within Maritz like travel and research. I work for Maritz Motivation Solutions, which develops loyalty programs, incentive programs, and employee engagement programs to sell to other companies. We do a lot of work within the auto industry as well as with banks, airlines, and many more. However, my job is completely internal. I've never worked with clients, but more worked on internal projects to help things run more smoothly and keep everyone informed. Here is where the majority of the interns sit every day. What I like most about our open workspace is that we have several huddles, or informal conference rooms that promote open conversations and quick meetings. We have a huge cafeteria with 2 beautiful atriums, and this is where my intern friends and myself ate lunch. Now I'd like to tell you a bit more about what I do day to day. The work that I've done has never been the same task, but many smaller projects require different skill sets to complete. Here are some of the projects I've completed that I'm most proud of. Through my involvement in the Employee Engagement Committee, I had the opportunity to plan Kids Day. I wrote communications out to companies' employees on how to sign up their child, what to bring, how they should dress, etc. In addition, I helped plan events for the day like a martial arts class, a special lunch, a human chess game, and arts and crafts. I delegated fellow interns for different tasks in preparation for the day as well. The day was a huge success with more than 40 kids in attendance. Another fun event I was able to help with for employee engagement was Christmas in July. We planned several fun events throughout the month in order to keep employee morale high. My involvement was focused on a school supply drive for Teach for America school we partnered with, Patrick Henry. My team of interns and I assembled 3 Christmas trees to put around campus, complete with tags with different supplies written on them, and decorated beach theme. Employees took tags from the tree, purchased the items, and returned them to the tree. We later collected the items and took them to the school where teachers were overjoyed with our contribution. Dozens of employees participated, and it really made a difference. One of my first projects while at Maritz was to help with the design of the new Maritz Motivation website. I attended bi-weekly meetings with my manager as we hammered out the design of the website, and the finished product turned out to be very effective and user-friendly. We spent a lot of time deliberating the best way to organize assets on the website so that it could be most beneficial for a potential employee or client. Not only did I participate in conversations around the design of the website, I was also responsible for collecting content to display on the website. We were in a crunch to meet a deadline for the developer, and my manager asked that I retrieve 6 client logos and testimonials or facts about their program to display on our front page. It was a difficult task to complete, but I was able to gain permission to show 6 valuable clients on our website, as well as insightful information about our partnerships with them. I was also able to write the internal marketing plan for the new website. I worked with a designer to create this banner to display on our TV monitors throughout the campus. In order to better market our products, my manager asked that I create product sheets to better exemplify how channel and sales incentives programs work. We have 3 different types of programs that we sell within the solution, so I wrote copy and worked with the designer to create these 3 product sheets that will be used in sales pitches around the country. I had the opportunity again to work with a designer when my manager asked me to create the company holiday card for the winter. We spent several meetings brainstorming the best way to be inclusive, and we were able to design a fun card that showed our global interest. It was a great project to show our creativity and will be given out not only to Maritz employees but all of our clients. Now I'd like to focus more on one specific project that I was a part of and worked on from its very beginning to the day that my team and I presented it to the president of the company. An intern came to me near the beginning of the summer and said, "I need your help." Her manager had come to her with an idea that came out of a think tank discussion several weeks before. The idea was to brainstorm and develop a physical therapy application that would use Maritz's point and reward system to motivate PT patients to make a full and quick recovery. This project would allow Maritz to get its foot in the door in the medical field, an area we haven't been able to do business with before. Jessica's manager really wanted to explore the idea further, but she had too much on her plate and turned it over to the interns to work on it for the duration of the summer and see what we could do. The application offers many aspects that other motivational PT apps don't have. The patient's physician will add what exercises they want them to complete daily onto the app. Every day, the patient will use the application to follow along and do their exercises, as opposed to reading a bunch of binders that the PT gives them that can be difficult and confusing to interpret. Within the app, the patient will then be awarded points for completing their exercises and daily checklists. After every exercise, the patient will log the amount of pain experienced, which will help them and their physicians see their progress. In our Goals tab, the patient can add an activity that they want to get back to doing, like hiking. Given their progress in recovery, they can see how far they are from achieving that goal and can even set a date to go hiking with their loved ones. In addition, the patient can add items from our Maritz catalog that they want to work towards. They can see their most wanted items on this app and their progress towards them. The combination of these 2 types of goals allows for both extrinsic and intrinsic motivation for the patient. We include a social aspect that allows family and friends to check up on their loved one to see how they are doing without constantly bugging them. The patient can easily talk to their physician on our messaging tab, which can save a trip to the doctor as well. There are plenty more features to the app that take much more time to explain, but that's the basic idea of the app. We presented this idea to the president of the company and it was very well received, and we are currently working to receive a grant to code and develop the application and pitch it to an insurance company. I wish there was an easy way to explain my involvement in this application, but I have worked on every aspect of the project, from brainstorming which tabs should be included to reaching out to my network of physical therapists and doctors to gain insight on the app, to helping my team write the marketing plan of the app. We all have contributed the majority of our time at Maritz to perfecting this project and ensuring the success of the project even after we have left our internship. What I've learned most from this project is that there are so many moving parts to something like this. It's not easy to get something done when you rely on so many people during a project. Communication is so important when attempting to efficiently carry out a project, and it can't be overstated. We had so much difficulty when communicating with a certain intern in our group, and it took extreme patience from all of us to work together and be able to be successful in the end. Finally, I want to discuss what I've learned from my time working here. I was very fortunate to have a boss like John. He's laid back but caring and always available if I need further direction. The beginning of the summer started off a bit slowly. I constantly needed guidance on how to carry out projects, and I felt like I was nagging my manager and mentors. But I quickly learned that this is just necessary in order to become familiar at a new job. I fairly quickly caught on to how things are supposed to run and was able to be much more independent. This is why John's style of management works so well for me. I sought help when needed, oftentimes from people outside of my department, like the creative team, but for the most part, I was able to be mostly autonomous in the way I carried out my work. This was completely different from my intern friend Jessica, who is a very type A personality. Luckily, her manager operates the same way. I sat right next to Jessica, so we got to know each other very well. She loves to have very specific direction so she can ensure a good job on her work. Her manager, Beth, did a wonderful job spelling out tasks and giving Jessica plenty of direction for her assignments. I personally would have gone crazy with that type of managerial style, so I was very excited when I realized that John and I would work together very well. At the end of the day, I've had a wonderful experience at Maritz, and I know that I've learned a lot about myself and the professional world that is instrumental as I begin my career. This is a company that I'd be happy to come back to and work at in the future, but for now, it's time to return to Kirksville.